Welcome to part 8 of Church Live Streaming, the Essential Guide. In this section, we'll look at more info about XSplit and VCam, routing sounds correctly for your live stream, sound mixing tips for mixing a full live band, using your iPhone as an NDI camera source, stingers, transitions, automation, and lots more. If you've not seen our previous sections, I encourage you to start with part 1 and work your way all the way through the material up to this point. We've covered a lot of ground, and we highlight a lot of important information that'll help your live streams elevate to the next level. Otherwise, let's get back to it. Miguel.
Hey, what's up?
Tell us about XSplit, and tell us about VCam, and tell us about how you think churches could leverage that for, or those things for what they do for doing services and stuff like that.
So I've been listening to your entire presentation, and I think you pretty much covered what XSplit and or OBS can do, right? But the cool part about, like for example, VCam, if you wanted to pull other people who are like using different types of apps, right? VCam lets you use the app in multiple apps at the same time. If you ever had that problem where you just started a Skype call and you didn't realize, I don't know, maybe Zoom was running in the background and it forgot to close your camera, and now you're in a weird situation where you can't actually use your camera and you have to, figure out or actually realize that Zoom's open, and then you close Zoom, maybe even restart Skype, and then you're in a bit of a pickle. With VCam,
every time. It only happened every time.
So okay.
Yeah, not that often.
All right, so with VCam, we made it so that it can be consumed by multiple applications at once. There's still a few kinks in the software, but we're working on it. But basically, I can use this. I can be in a Zoom meeting, a Skype meeting, a Microsoft Teams meeting, all at the same time, just using VCam, and then making VCam consume my C920, which I'm using right now over here. What Bruce said earlier as well. I think you mentioned NDI, right? And you weren't able to demo it.
Yeah, my phone NDI is broken right now because my Wi-Fi is broken.
Because of your Wi-Fi, yeah. So
cut me off at the knees today.
Okay, so the cool part about XSplit Broadcaster, right? Normally, what you'd use in Skype would be VCam, but what I'm actually using right now is I'm using XSplit Broadcaster as my camera. So technically, I can switch to my my phone over here, as you can see. I can switch to this scene. And now I see you guys right there.
That was what I was going to do, and I couldn't do it, so I'm glad you're able to show that.
Yep. So I'm using XSplit Broadcaster on Skype, so I can actually do a presentation if I wanted to.
That's a lot of Chris Slays there. You might want to tone that back a little bit.
I mean, we're trying to break the world, right?
That's true. That's right. Break the internet.
So yeah, and up here is like my actual thing. So that's how XSplit looks, and I can switch scenes if I wanted to, and it's gonna come back to the first scene or whatever. Of course, if I do that, then this theme will disappear, and I click this, and we're back to myself.
So that was a little transition stinger thing that you ran there too.
Yes.
With one click.
Exactly. So you can choose the transition that you want when you're switching scenes. There's also a lot of other features in XSplit that you can use to automate things. So like maybe for some reason, like maybe you have some service that you need to do at a certain time, but no one's available to do it at that time. You can pre-record everything. Okay. And you can use something called macros. There's an extension in XSplit called macros. It's kind of impossible to explain in one go, but basically what it does is it allows you to automate actions, and you can pretty much create a 24-hour live stream if you wanted that just starts and stops and switches scenes. Like when a video ends, it switches scenes and it starts an ad here and does that. And as long as you program it correctly, then you can just leave your computer running and leave it for the weekend, and like at a certain time, it's just going to start broadcasting and just show everything in order, completely automated.
So you could, in effect, automate your attendance to a virtual church service and no one would know you weren't there.
No, that's not what it does. It's a
darn.
broadcasting
Okay.
thing.
All right.
It's a broadcasting thing.
All right,
Yeah,
just
you would still need to. It doesn't automate Skype. It automates the broadcast. It's more of the church automating the stuff, not the not the people.
Oh well. Oh well.
Oh well.
So let me jump
Got it.
in here a little bit. When we got together and you were when I talked to you about coming on the stream and you asked me if I used VCam and stuff, and I had said no because I was having some other troubles with it. And once you showed me that I could use it as basically the root camera that all my other apps draw from, instead of having the different apps fight for control of that camera, they all can say, hey, can I grab some VCam goodness? And I can have multiple programs running, and they're all drawing from the same one camera instead of fighting over it. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so great. So now VCam is my camera for Zoom and for Skype and for XSplit and for anything else that I do that uses a camera. I go through VCam because I know that if something else pops up, it's not going to crash my webcam or crash my application because it's just going to work. And anything that I do as far as customizing my like you can't do fun backgrounds in some applications, right? But I can do.
It's limited sometimes.
Yeah, but I can do fun backgrounds in VCam, and they come through to all my other applications really easily and really instantly. And if you're like a space cadet and you like floating around in the virtual world, then that's perfect. So it's great. So even if everybody who's watching this stream just went and got VCam, your life would be happier, and you should go do that right away. But the other thing that I mentioned earlier is, did you want to say something about VCam?
Oh, no. I'm just scratching my face.
The other thing that I mentioned earlier was that for nonprofits like churches, you guys are giving them the premium license to the broadcaster software, right?
Exactly. You just have to reach out to us and say, hey, we're this. And like, of course, like ideally reach out with an official email so we can verify that you are actually, a nonprofit. But after that, we'll happily give you a 1-year license, a premium license, which unlocks pretty much all the XSplit apps from XSplit Broadcaster, XSplit VCam, and any other apps we might decide to add on top of that at least within the year. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. That's so great you guys are doing that. And I know that it's going to get a lot of people hooked. So I want to give a little bit of warning to people that if you start doing this, you're going to have a problem not doing it with XSplit later on.
I like how you're like, setting things on fire. I mean, mine is like a cartoon.
Yeah.
I can just do this.
A little demonic here.
Fine.
I'm letting people know that there's some evil mojo going on, that XSplit is giving you something worth quite a bit of money for free so that they can get you hooked on XSplit later on after you're able to, leave your house. But you'll still be hooked on it, and so they won't care.
The thing with XSplit, right? So if you can't really shell out for a lifetime, which is $200, we do have like subscription plans, which is like $25 for 3 months, $60 for a year, $150 for 3 years. But once you start doing the math, you're just going to be like, yeah, sure, I'll just get it for $200, whatever, right? And just so you understand how messy my background is, okay? Just so you understand, I will turn off my filter completely, and you're going to see the mess behind. It is so horrible.
Fantastic.
This is like the worst possible scenario. Like if you tried to use Zoom with this, or maybe Teams or even Skype's background removal, it's not gonna do it well, because XSplit uses machine learning and AI models to determine like what needs to be removed. It separates you from the background, whereas the other background removal techniques are based purely off like programmatic, like algorithms, which aren't as effective and will probably destroy your CPU just trying to remove the background. It'll also result in a lower quality. What they actually do when you try to remove the background is they shrink your camera resolution a bit, and then they trim here and there.
Right. They're doing edge detection and that kind of thing mostly.
Yes, all that stuff. And the thing about this technology is it'll only get better as we as we improve the model. Right now, if I wait, let me just turn this on. If I hold up my phone, right, it's disappearing.
Right.
We have our next version will actually let you hold your phone. Basically, anything in your hand will be detected. So if you decide to hold
your hand, it's going to trace your arm up to your hand, to your fingers, to what's in it.
It's like it's going to realize that you're holding onto a phone or you're holding onto a roll of tissue paper, because I don't know, people are hoarding tissue paper right now. But there's a lot of things that you can do with XSplit.
I want you to know that my office, actually, that is my office behind me, and I cleaned it, but particularly for this stream. And my wife came up and she said, "Wow, where did you put all that stuff?" And it's just like around behind the, over by the drum kit, kind of behind the laser printer and stuff like that. So I could show the same pandemonium that you were just brave enough to show. Okay, is there anything that's unique about XSplit versus OBS? Because I know a lot of people, well, OBS is free, so I should use that. And I went down the OBS road initially because it was free, and ended up seeing the light and never looked back, and so happy that I did. But why?
I think one of the biggest differences would be we have 24/7 support, because you are paying for the product. Then we are kind of responsible to your customer experience. If you do have issues with OBS, sure, you can post on their forums, and hopefully someone will respond. They're very responsive. I know the guys. They're a good bunch.
They have been,
but they're not obligated to fix your problem, whereas we are completely obligated to figure out what's wrong, and we will go as far as debug on your computer, go into a team viewer session, try to figure out what is breaking if it comes down to that.
You guys also seem to be product development. You seem to be really attuned to what can we do to improve it seems like a faster pace than OBS in some ways. I don't know if that's true or
it's I guess recently we've been faster. There was a time when we were too focused on certain things, but I think since the past 3 years we've massively improved our processes, and we just know how to prioritize better now. If users are asking for something, if we can see that there's a lot of users wanting a certain feature, then we kind of bump it up on the list and just try to get, even if it's hard, it's okay, we just have to do it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I just thought of I haven't mentioned is that for people who are going to be doing churches live streaming, you may notice, if I'm down here in the corner, Chris and our pictures are really high quality, and Miguel's is kind of a little lower quality, but still pretty decent, and way better than Zoom would have been. And if I go to this, what did I have here? Here, the quality of what's being streamed out, for example, is so much higher quality than a Zoom call is going to give you, right? I think we just lost.
No, I was just fiddling around
higher
with
quality. So you're not going to be able to put out a good quality stream. And realistically, we talked about how important audio is, but video is not unimportant. And keep in mind that people are watching media that is produced on high-end equipment with high-end aesthetics, and you want to not. It's not that you have to compete and be better, but you have to compete and not be obviously annoyingly worse. So anything you can do to make yourself look respectable and like you care, I think really helps your stream, and it helps people enjoy your stream more. So you can't do that on Zoom. You can't do that on Skype, really. You have to use a tool like XSplit to make that happen, and XSplit makes it happen really easily. And I'm pushing XSplit because I love it, not because they're not paying me a dime. They're not giving me anything that I didn't pay for myself. And Chris isn't making anything, and Miguel's not making anything. We're all here because we really want to help churches succeed at what they're doing, and we're sharing what knowledge we have and what tools we have and what software we have to make that work for you guys. So I want to have Chris talk a little bit about how to make sound better. Any mixing stuff, tips that you've got, Chris, you want to give us? I also have some ideas I want to kick around for helping churches live stream better. Miguel, go ahead.
Yeah, I have one small Easter egg in XSplit that no one knows. We don't really tell anyone about it because we're still kind of fixing it. You can drag a PowerPoint presentation straight into the mixer of XSplit and it will load correctly. Well, not perfectly, but it will load.
Wow, that's cool.
So if you wanted to have instead of creating an app capture or a screen capture of the PowerPoint, it will become a source in XSplit, the PowerPoint itself.
So you guys should look at ProPresenter and you should look at Easy Worship. They're both media management and presentation programs that are commonly used in churches to do PowerPoint presentations and overheads and slides and lyrics on top of background images for during worship and stuff like that. And one of the questions I see coming up all the time on the forums on the Facebook group is, how do I get my lyrics in? How do I do that? And you can use NDI from either of those to bring them into XSplit, and maybe that's the best way. Or would it be better to have a native ability?
Do they have so those apps have NDI?
They have NDI out, yeah.
Oh, that's perfect because those are already designed. I'm just saying that if in case you needed to drag a PowerPoint presentation for some reason or another.
What I don't know is whether or not the NDI. I don't know if I haven't used ProPresenter. I used Easy Worship years ago. I don't know if those will send out slides on a transparent background or lyrics on a transparent background. Because I think what people would like to be able to do is have the transparent background lyrics composited over the top of their worship.
If you're gonna do that, just make sure that you can chroma the NDI.
Yeah, they could do it on a green background, couldn't they? And chroma it when it comes in.
Yeah, exactly. Just send it with a green background and just chroma it out, and you're good.
That'd be great. That's a great idea. Okay, Chris, did you want to say stuff about audio at all? Do you want to talk about audio some more?
No, I think we covered everything.
Are there any tips you do when you're mixing for live sound on a stream that you do mix-wise?
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about it, but one of the reasons why, if you're mixing a full band, why you don't want to be mixing it from your live situation is because basically the things that are loud in the room will be quiet on the stream, and the things that are quiet in the room will be loud on the stream. And so that's why a lot of times when you watch a church, when you watch a church's live stream, all you hear are vocals, is because the things that are quiet in the room are the quietest things are the vocals. And so all you hear is vocals, and then the music is this tiny down here. And I think the really important thing is to, again, get a good mix where, you want to make it sound like the drums are sitting right in the right space and the bass and so on and so forth. Mix it as if you're mixing a record, not like you're mixing live sound. And that's really the important thing to process through as you're mixing.
Okay, cool. So
I have a tip regarding that, though, on XSplit. If you really wanted to make sure that your sound going into the stream is optimal, what you'd need to do is you'd need to assign, maybe plug in a secondary or tertiary audio interface onto your PC and assign that as audio preview. In the settings of XSplit, you can set your audio preview device to like headphones or whatever. And if you do that, whatever you hear there is exactly what people on your stream will hear. So, because normally what people do is they use that and then, they actually preview it on YouTube or Facebook or wherever they're streaming, and it's delayed. It's sometimes it's too late. Oh crap, our sound was crap. But at least with this one, even before you start hitting that stream button, you can do it just okay guys, speak up, play something, and you'll hear what the stream will hear exactly.
How do you set that up again?
So you can go to settings, tools, and then settings. And then from there, you just select the audio tab. And then there's an audio preview drop down. You can just choose a default device. Obviously, you cannot select your default system sound. If you had system sound selected, you can't select that because it's going to just loop into oblivion because it's also pulling from system sound. But this will allow you, whatever device you have assigned in audio preview will be your final mix for the stream.
Okay.
What we normally do is we set our system sound to none, so it doesn't pick up anything coming from your PC, and then we pull out system sound into the external mixer, or if it's a USB mixer, we'll just push it out there, and then the microphone will be either line in, or if there's a USB interface for the mixer, then we'll use that as the microphone. So you mix everything on the mixer, and then you just have like audio preview to double check. Like you can check on the mixer, but if you really wanted to hear the final output, because like you might have like accidentally muted something on XSplit, like maybe even the mix itself, right? So the mixer itself. So you're going to be
that also gets rid of the problem of, oh, I forgot to mute my Outlook message alert noises.
Exactly. So that's why we disable system sound, so that we can only add the devices that we want, or like the whatever that we want.
Right.
We're working on a feature in the future where, I can't really say much, but it'll remove the problem of random apps popping into the background.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Cool. So the other thing, I broadcast this out on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously so that people could see, oh, look, it's going 2 places at one time. And I also recommended that they come check it out on Twitch. And the reason I wanted them to come to Twitch, there is chat for YouTube Live. There is chat for Zoom. There is chat for, lots of things. But the chat on Twitch has evolved quite a bit further than these other platforms has. And that's because the gamer industry has just pushed it to do so. So there's games in chat. There's all sorts of moderator tools. There's all sorts of feedback and collaborative, tipping and cheering and icons. And, it's a hotbed of fellowship, basically, in a good way, of people being able to yak. And I think for youth groups in particular, that's a much better place to host a chat, because it's a environment that they've grown up with and they love and they're in and they know, and it's actually a better environment for doing communication type stuff, I think, than Zoom or anything else really provides. Hey, that's all for part 8. Oh my gosh, we're almost done. We've gotten through 8 different sections of stuff to help your live stream get better. But this last one, to me, is really special. To me, it's kind of like one of the most important things. Maybe it is the most important thing. We're going to be talking about things you can do to make your live stream more than just a one-way broadcast out to your congregation, but by turning it into a multi-directional communication tool that you can use to better connect to the people that you care about and to each other. Suggestions on leveraging this great technology to forge deeper and stronger connections with people than you maybe thought were even possible. I want your live stream not just to look great and to sound great and to be smooth and to look professional as much as possible and reasonable. I want your live stream to touch people and to help people touch each other. We're going to focus on that in the next section. You don't want to miss this. Oh, don't forget, subscribe, notify, and share. See you soon.